Bob Cousy's greater than Steph Curry. I'm actually going to describe it versus who's worse or who's better. It's a who's greater debate. So greatness is defined as the ability, quality, or eminence considered above the normal average. Basketball and competitive greatness is at the highest level defined by dominance, meaning being commanding, controlling, or prevailing over all others. And the convergence of this, meaning the meaning of greatness at the same time, makes a player greater. With this said, Cousy had a greater career than Curry, was more impactful on basketball culture, and was honored greater outside the NBA for his impact on it. Cousy's impact on basketball culture include being the first prevalent NBA scoring point guard, changing that concept against reliance for big men, being the first playmaker in the NBA to dominate with a fast break, influencing its prevalence, being the first NBA player with a shoe deal, transforming the landscape of players and media, being the first NBA player on Sports Illustrated magazine, bringing the sport to national attention. And with much risk to his career, he formed the preside of the NBA's Players Union, the union that now has negotiated players millions of dollars per year, insurances, and a pension. All of these things that Cousy influenced are greater because they transcended longer across NBA history, influencing players at the core, including Steph Curry, with his on and off the court successes, like utilizing the fast break concept as a trailing three-point shooter. This was on top of influencing rule changes at its core with Cousy's flashy dribbling, passing, and scoring, paving the way for future players to integrate it. Cousy also had a greater career than Curry. Cousy was the floor general of the greatest individual dynasty in NBA history to win consistent championships. Cousy was a six-time champion compared to Curry's four, in which he won five in a row. Cousy had more All-NBA and All-Star teams than Curry, who played 3 years longer than him. Cousy also has 2.5 times the amount of first-team All-NBAs with 10-4 and won All-NBA every year of his career minus his rookie and comeback season. Cousy also won 8 assist titles in a row while doing this. And then 3 times, Bob Cousy was a champion, assist champion, All-Star, NBA first team player in the same season, and one of those he also won the MVP. And because competition can only occur against the players and teams with the rules, equipment, and circumstances of the time they play in comparison, Cousy is more dominant than Curry. Cousy was a greater all-around player, leading the league in triple doubles 5 times. Curry never did that. Cousy was a greater assister. He won 8 assist titles to Curry's 0, while both are point guards. Cousy was a greater rebounder than Curry. He led all guards and rebounds 4 times and all point guards 6 times. Steph Curry never did that in per-game rebounds. Cousy was a greater assister in scoring the playoffs, leading him 8 times in assists and 3 times in scoring across the league, where Curry never did that. Cousy had greater impact on winning through defense, being top 4 in defensive win shares 7 times and placing second twice. Curry was only 14th twice in his career. Cousy also had more immediate impact to winning, where Cousy had increased his team's win his rookie season by 17. Steph lost 3 more games by joining. Cousy also was never on a team under a 500 record. Curry was on a 500 team, under 500 team 5 times. This outside of his dominant records and outside NBA recognition that he received for his greatness, Steph Curry was not nearly consistently dominant as Bob Cousy across these factors. Cousy is greater than Steph Curry.
Let's get it.
For one, when you bring up the 10 All NBA first teams, are you going to conclude that Bob Cousy is better than Bill Russell? Because Bill Russell only has 3. I doubt that. When you talk about the assist titles, that man won 5 out of his 8 assist titles, averaging under 8 assists a game. And when Curry did play the traditional point guard before Steve Kerr became the coach, Stephen Curry averaged 8.5 assists per game. So he showed you the ability to be a playmaker, be a traditional point guard, because that's what you're representing when it comes to when it comes to Bob Cousy. Also, when you mentioned the rings, before Bill Russell came into the league, goddamn, Bob Cousy had some of the worst playoff performances ever. Couldn't win a ring. Never got past the Syracuse Nationals. Was consistently losing to those guys, and never even came close to competing for championships consistently. And you can argue and say that Bill Sharman had just as much impact for the Celtics before Russell came to him. But when it also comes down to it, Stephen Curry also showed you the ability before Kevin Durant came to win. Bob Cousy didn't win anything until Bill Russell came about in the defensive win shares you brought up. Hell, anybody can have great defensive win shares when they got Bill Russell as a staple of their defense. So, I mean, in the end of the day, dog, man, you didn't bring up any. When you talk about revolutionize the game, Stephen Curry made shooting threes cool. Stephen Curry got people rather want to watch the three-point contest than watch the damn slam dunk contest in this current era. Stephen Curry made the defensive strategies more difficult as well, to the point now they got to extend their defense 30-plus feet out to guard Stephen Curry, to guard these great shooters that's in today's league. Also on top of that, Stephen Curry's playmaking is greater that Bob Cousy due to the fact that now they trapping him. Now the defense is extended, so he's good at creating four-on-three situations. That's why Draymond Green has been affected. That's why I heard Draymond Green is going to be in the Hall of Fame due to how Stephen Curry create opportunities and make Draymond Green one of the best playmakers in the game. So yes, in the traditional sense, you can have that, but I also brought up in the traditional sense, Stephen Curry is just as great. And like I said, 5 out of the 8 assist titles, he averaged under 8 assists. So that shows you he's cool for his era. But when it comes to being greater than Stephen Curry, it's not even close, man. Stephen Curry has way more impact on the NBA ever than what Bob Cousy did. Yes, Bob Cousy changed the things, but Bill Russell was a part of a lot of those changes for us boycotting the All-Star game and stuff like that. So it wasn't just him. But with Stephen Curry, he opened the doors for smaller players. You don't have to be the best athlete in the world to compete. You don't have to be the best athlete in the world to be great. And Stephen Curry showcased that. He brought that to the league, and he showed that I don't have to be Michael Jordan and LeBron James to be great. That's why Stephen Curry has the more immediate impact and is greater and is better than Bob Cousy ever had been.
Oh, gentlemen.
Hey, Dart, I got to ask you this, Dart. Since you brought the all defensive first teams, will you concede that Bob Cousy is better than Bill Russell, or that's going to be a strong staple point to put him over Curry? Because we know Bill Russell only has 3 All-NBA first teams. So are you going to say that Bob Cousy is better than Bill Russell?
He's greater in respect to the top 5 guys because it's a better award. It's not a playable award. The valuable player award is a valuable player award. The All NBA team is given to the best players. So no, Wilt Chamberlain was considered the best player. Bill Russell was considered the most valuable player for how he impacted the team in the winning, and then also because he was winning the championships. That's what it is. Why do you pick the 5 best players? You don't pick the 5 most valuable players. You pick the 5 best players. But you're talking about, yes, the 10 NBA teams, first teams, that's greater than Steph Curry. And you're trying to cross eras. The thing is that you can only play the people in front of you with the equipment, the roles, all of this.
You crossed the eras with this debate topic, so you already crossed the eras. So we can't exclude things. So when you bring up the All-NBA first teams, and I'm giving you an example of a player that's in this same era as Bob Cousy, a guy that have immediate more impact than Bob Cousy, and to the point that he actually is the reason why Bob Cousy is a 6-time champion, because he did not win any damn thing before Bill Russell came along. Him and Red Auerbach legacies was built because of what Bill Russell brought to that franchise. Not because of how great Bob Cousy was.
Okay, what about Steve Kerr joining? What did Steph Curry do before Steve Kerr? In respect to Russell and to Steve Kerr, Bob Cousy won two playoff series versus Steph Curry. He only won 1. And then you're talking about. No. Let me finish. You just been talking.
You asked me a question though. That's why.
No. I'm not crossing errors. I'm talking about what they did in their time.
To answer your question,
I'm comparing.
You asked the question, but you kept going. So, but you got it though. You can keep going because you still didn't address my point of Bob Cousy being greater than Bill. Because that's your talking point.
No, that's one point. That's one part of it. Why are you talking about Bill Russell?
But you have to
this is a debate between Curry and Cousy.
Because Bill Russell only has 3 All-NBA first teams. It's not in my right mind to sit up there and say that Stephen Curry is greater than Bill Russell because he had 1 more All-NBA first team than Bill Russell. I know Bill Russell's impact is far greater. He's one of the greatest winners ever, and what he did defensively, head above shoulders, would be.
You're bringing a whole different argument into this. I didn't say that.
I'm just going off of what you said in the first round.
No, you're bringing me. You're saying that this is no logic. It's not. It's not. And then you're talking about that Bill Russell. Yeah, he was the missing piece for the team, but that team was great. They were leading the league in offense. They did it 8 times. Yes, they did. They led the league in offense 8 times. They were always over 500 teams. In comparison to Curry, it wasn't.
But why Bob Cousy in 1954 had one of the worst performances to clinch the series against the Syracuse Nationals, going 4 for 18 in the series. Then when he won his first title in Game 7, he went 2 for 20 in the goddamn Game 7. The Celtics still won because there was a great team, and Bill Russell was the staple of that
team.
So Bob Cousy really is not that great at all, honestly. Not compared to Curry. Curry showed you that ability, even though he was struggling in 2015, he showed the ability to get better during the series and make his adjustments. And one of those adjustments were made. Stephen Curry had a great game 5 and game 6 that ultimately helped them clinch the series and win their first NBA title. So you can't even use Kevin Durant. I could use the fact that Bill Russell made Bob Cousy a winner, but Stephen Curry was a winner before he got his superstar, Kevin Durant, his game changer player.
Yeah, he won. He won 1 year when he got Steve Kerr to tailor the offense around him, and that's great. That's the same thing what happened with Bill Russell going to the Celtics. He was the defensive piece that was missing with the rebound. Their centers didn't average over 10 rebounds a game. They had the offensive system, and Bill Russell enabled them to win. He had bad series. So did Steph Curry. In fact, Bob Cousy made the playoffs more times. He made it 14 times versus 11. He won more playoff series, like I said, before in comparison to Steph Curry when these major transitions happen with this. And then this isn't even including you're trying to compare these different times together, dude. It's talking about you're bringing Bill Russell into it. You're bringing Kevin Durant. I want to hear other than how Steph Curry is greater. You're just diminishing what Bob Cousy did.
Why before James Harden broke that record? Why Bob Cousy held the record for the most playoff games shooting under 25% or less in that shot clock era for us on how he performed? Why Bob Cousy was always a bad shooter from the field? Why?
All right, since this debate is on who's greater, not what era or who's better, how does Steph Curry have a greater career and influence than Cousy without attacking the players, the time, or and compared to my evidence-based claims that I provided earlier?
I think I countered all your evidence for one, but what makes Stephen Curry greater is the fact that he revolutionized the game. He changed the game for us. How teams strategize to this day. A lot of guys now they emphasize shooting threes. There used to be a point to where that shooting threes, people say you could never win championships by being a three-point predominantly shooting team. Now with Stephen Curry coming to the fold, you saw the Boston Celtics in 2024. Despite all the threes they take, they were still basically accurate, efficient, and they won the chip basically being a predominantly three-point shooter team. So Curry opened the doors for how teams strategize, how they use the 5 and outs, how they use the small ball lineups, in which we see consistently throughout the league. So Curry did that with Bob Cousy. You could say what he revolutionized, which is cool for his time, but at the same time, his impact for his team wasn't great until we saw Bill Russell, and Bill Russell was mainly responsible for his team impact to win the chip. So, Dart, the question I'm gonna ask you again that I felt you haven't really addressed: how come all NBA first teams was one of your big talking points to use Bob Cousy being better than Curry, knowing that Bob Cousy has more all NBA first teams than Bill Russell? So how does that correlate when it comes to using it against other players rather than Steph Curry?
All right, well, I'll answer it again because I did. And I didn't say it made him better, I said it made him greater. But the All NBA first team, if you look it up, it distinguishes the 5 best players in the league. The most valuable player, even within its name, is the most valuable player in the league. And for who Bill Russell was losing the first team All NBAs to, it was Wilt Chamberlain, who at points was averaging 50 points per game and mid 20s for almost an entire decade. The guy was absolutely dominant. He was better as an individual player. A lot of people, and these people that voted on it, thought than Bill Russell. Bill Russell was the more valuable player. He wasn't the better player. He was more valuable for the team in respect to him winning the championships. I already answered this, and that's what it is. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the All NBA most valuable team. It's the All NBA team. So they don't say it's the most valuable. They say, they're arguing for it to be the best. Okay. So Bob Cousy had a greater career than Steph Curry. He's more impactful on basketball culture and was honored greater outside the NBA for his impact on basketball culture. He held and holds greater records that cover dominance all time in comparison to Curry. So Cousy for point guards has the most championships for a player who won MVP with 6. It's the most All NBA first teams for a point guard with 10. Has the most championships won while winning an assist title with 3. Curry never did that as a point guard winning a championship or just with any statistical title. Because he has the most assist titles while winning a championship also. He's held the record for most regular season assists in a game with 28 from 59 until 78. Cousy held the record for the highest scoring playoff game with 50 in 1953 pre-shot clock in the playoffs until 1962. Cousy held the single game final assist record with 19 twice in 57 and 59 until 84. Held the final series record for assists per game, and then also is top 10 for most triple doubles in a final series. He's one of 4 players to be named top 25, 35, 50, and 75, and then he was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Only 1 of 6 NBA players got that.
And let's look at Stephen Curry's career, man. He's the only active player in NBA history to get a Hall of Fame exhibit built for him. That's just remarkable. That just shows how great he was to the game and how he revolutionized the game. That's why he's the first active player to ever accomplish that. He our first and only unanimous MVP of all time, a guy that averaged over 30 and basically had a 50, 40, 90, and he converted it. He made over 400 threes within that, having 50, 40, 90, which is unprecedented, and we haven't seen anyone done that to the degree of Stephen Curry with it over 67% true shooting. That's why he was and is the only unanimous MVP that we still have in this league. What Curry just did for the game, man, it just speaks volumes. Salute to him. He made it possible for guys that is not the most athletic to work on their skills and to work on the aspect of shooting. If you work on that, you could be great in this league. You could play long in this league, and you will have a successful and great career, Steph Curry.
I'm gonna let you go first as it applies to Dart. Michael Jordan's fans are the best. We're gonna start with him first for all 3 guys. So, Lo, for basketball knowledge, what are you giving them?
A 3.
Yeah, I got you. How bad? All right. All right. Strength of argument.
2.
Rebuttals.
1.
Consistency.
1.
Delivery and control.
3.
All right. Sturdy as it applies to Dart. Basketball knowledge.
3.
Strength of argument.
2.
Rebuttals.
1.
Consistency.
3.
Delivery and control.
3.
All right. And lastly, Dana, for Dart, basketball knowledge.
3.
All right. Strength of argument.
1.
Rebuttals.
1.
Consistency.
3.
And delivery and control.
2.
All right. Now we're going back again. This time it's for L.M.G. Herm. All right. Low for Herm, basketball knowledge.
3.
Strength of argument.
3.
Rebuttals.
3.
Consistency.
3.
Delivery and control.
2.
All right. Sturdy for Herm, basketball knowledge.
3.
Strength of argument.
3.
Rebuttals.
3.
Consistency.
2.
All right. Delivery and control.
3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
No.
And
3 is consistency. My bad.
3 is consistency. Okay. And delivery and control lastly.
2.
All right. Dana, for my man L.M.G. Herm, basketball knowledge, what do you got?
3.
Strength of argument.
3.
Rebuttals.
3.
Consistency.
3.
And delivery and control.
2.
2. All right, it's without question. If you guys want the score, I'll give it to you, but I can already tell it's by a landslide, man. So shout out to L.M.G. Herm, man, for, another yet victory on the platform. But more importantly, shout out to Michael Jordan fans are the best. He also does, his debates on his channel is live, his debates on his platform as well. So I want to say it's Sundays, correct, Dart?
You on mute, dog.
Score, Steve. And
Okay.
you on mute.
Okay. Okay, give me a second. I'll add it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we do. Yeah,
Okay,
we
okay.
do Yeah, we do Sundays at noon Eastern Standard Time. Herm's supposed to come on Sunday. He's supposed to do a doubleheader against Rowe and uh, T Perfect. And then there's going to be me and my talk. We're going to be debating who's the better coach, Red Auerbach or Greg Popovich. So yeah, come check it out. I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, you guys judges, thank you for coming. Thank you, sponsors, for doing the sponsors. I appreciate it. Thank you.